His journey from 315 pounds to 190 pounds is not just about weight loss, but redefining confidence and purpose. Justin O'Regan, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Your transformation was more based on the gaze of the other or the gaze of the self?
It was kind of just for my personal usage. I never thought I would really be posting it online anywhere.
Do you have the feel that you could go back on your steps and lose all the progress you've made?
100%. That's totally a thought I've had and do have. Just because my appetite is naturally so large, it is an everyday fight to control that. Ramsey or any gym will be completely packed come the new semester, and then for spring break, the 2 weeks before, of people just having that short-term thing.
We have some weird stories at Ramsey. What about that guy who took off his shirt and told us he wanted to be a fire worker, and it changed our life forever?
Our eyes filled up with wonder, and we saw in that moment the entirety of the human experience.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to the Underdawgs Podcast, the #1 podcast at UGA. I'm Massimo Ballou, the most Italian-American dude at UGA, and this is my best friend, Oliver Kerrigan. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, Massu?
Well, I'm doing really good because I'm like, we only did 2-3 episodes of the podcast. This is the third, and we're having some pretty awesome guests.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Pretty cool guests. The goal was to get awesome people at UGA, and I think we are getting them, and they're coming, and this is a good chance for them to tell their stories. Today's guest, our guest today, dives deeply into every passion, whether it's transforming his body, creating content, or inspiring others to achieve their best. His journey from 315 pounds to 190 pounds is not just about weight loss, but redefining confidence and purpose. With his expertise in storytelling and fitness, he has become a trusted voice in a space often clouded by noise. Justin O'Regan, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
I'm very excited.
No, we were just saying this before the podcast. Is this your first podcast? Oh my God. Is this your first podcast?
This is definitely my first podcast.
Yeah?
I've never done anything like this. So when you asked me to come on, I was like, for sure.
In fact, I saw you at the gym, and I had seen some of your videos, but I didn't recognize you, and Oliver actually pointed you out to me.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I know he does a lot of videos. I think it'd be fun to have him on the podcast. So I did come to you after checking your videos. And I told you that I was a big fan of your transformation. I saw even later on after that conversation we had all the message you try to transmit. I think that's fantastic. There's a lot going on, but it's definitely different doing short videos like the ones you do from, a longer format. When did you start 100%. Doing videos?
I actually started posting videos back in like 2018 or so because I was really big into Fortnite. I took that pretty seriously. Yeah. I played Fortnite pretty semi-professionally, professionally for a few years.
Wow.
So I made a lot of content out of that, kind of just highlight clips and montages.
You worked with pro guides, right?
I did work with pro guides.
Yeah.
You still do?
I don't work with pro guides anymore. I think they got bought out and they're not even pro guides anymore. It's like a different company. When I was working with them, I was just like a coach that you could hire online.
That's crazy.
Basically just people wanting to get carried in ranked or arena. So, it was like, okay, yeah, I'll play with you.
So you've been into gaming your entire life, right? You still play video games?
I took a little bit of a hiatus for the past year or so, but recently I've been getting back into Fortnite a little
really?
bit. Really?
Yeah, dude, OG's about to drop back, right? In December?
Yeah,
I think me and my boys are hopping on that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You're going to have to.
So how do you balance, because with video gaming, there's often this idea that it leads to sloth and laziness.
Right.
How do you balance playing video games with an active lifestyle? It can be difficult for some people.
For sure, yeah. I think, honestly, as long as you're doing everything you need to be doing in terms of, your school or work, whatever you're doing at the moment, eating right, staying active, and, not just being a bum and staying on the game for 12 hours a day, and you still want to include that little bit of game, by all means go for it. And I think you can have a healthy balance. Now, if it is an issue for some people that they really can't have that healthy balance and they do just want to, spend all day on the game, that's not really going to turn out right. But for myself personally, I don't set specific limits on my game time or anything. I really won't play for longer than 2 hours at a time.
So you did also sports. Even as a kid, you played baseball a lot. Are you a big baseball guy?
Yeah.
Now?
I played baseball all my life, from third grade up until, graduating high school, but I never pursued it because I was like, all right, I'm not good enough to take this to another level. And physically not able to as well, of course. But nowadays, I do enjoy watching baseball from time to time, but I'm not like a diehard Braves fan or anything. I do like to go out to a game or two, but I don't really keep up with it too much.
So even though it sounds like you did sports, you did school, you did video games, you had a lot of things going on, you still had this thing that bothered you, which was your weight.
Right.
And you started making videos of yourself, even in a moment in which you weren't excited or you didn't didn't necessarily like yourself physically. Why did you do that?
Yeah, honestly, it was just kind of having that foresight into the future of knowing, like, okay, I mean, if I'm going to commit to this right now, I know I'm going to get the results I'm looking for, so I might as well document it so I can have something to look back on. And also just to have that tool to measure progress. Because, I mean, if you're losing weight, it's not always the scale that's going to be the end-all, be-all. There's a lot of factors that go into that with your water weight, if you had a bowel movement or whatnot. So just having that video documentation and being able to compare yourself can definitely help out a lot when you're having a moment like, okay, I haven't really made progress. But then you look back 3 months ago and you're like, oh, I actually look a lot different. So that was kind of the idea there.
Plus, it gives a lot of motivation to people because you hear this all the time. Oh, he's like that because he's got genetics on his side. It's the family genes, this and that. You didn't have it on your side initially.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I will say from, like a muscle building standpoint, I would say I was blessed with like pretty decent genetics in that department. But as for like appetite and wanting to hold on weight, I was cooked. Yeah. So, definitely wasn't any special case or anything, really just doing what you need to do, going about it in a healthy manner. And as long as you don't have an underlying health condition that you're not aware of that's preventing you, like you can by all means do it.
So a lot of times I noticed with very good close friends of mine who've been overweight since they were children, it's a big problem in the household. A lot of times it's the mothers or the fathers who don't cook extremely healthy food or don't get you prepared to eat food that is good for your body in the long run. And a part of the reason is they like to spoil you. They like to give you what you want. How much of it was it your parents for you to be overweight at a young age?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. For me personally, it really was not a fault of my parents at all. It was honestly just my own will of going out of my way to eat food whenever I could. Like my parents would try to cook healthy. Obviously, they didn't have all the information in the world or how to make things work 100% of the time. But, I just always had an insatiable appetite. My mom was always like, you're never full. She used to
Especially as a teenager, I can imagine.
Yeah, 100%. Going through puberty, it was just tenfold. So really just going out of my way, like any chance I got, like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go for the snack or I'm going to sneak this or like if that's offered to me, I'm going to have it. And I'm not really sure why that is. I think some people do just have different, I don't know what the term, like hormones, genetics, or what it is, but
like predispositions for
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm definitely a snack guy.
Oh yeah.
I have problems.
Candy guy too.
Yeah,
I see a lot of candies at your house.
You should not have given me this Mr. Beast festival because I'm definitely going to eat it all after this show. Maybe even during, but I won't subject the mic to that.
Have you seen? Sorry, before I interrupt you.
no.
Have you seen that episode where Mike Tyson is eating mushrooms on a podcast for 40 minutes,
The Jake
and he's
Paul
just
podcast.
chewing on the mushrooms the entire time? By the way, he's fighting tonight. But sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, he is fighting tonight. Are you going to watch that fight?
I might tune in for a little bit. I've been seeing it on Netflix every time I've opened it up for the past 2 weeks.
It's on Netflix.
It's for free on Netflix.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Interesting angle there.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely tune in and see what it's all about. But all the Paul brother fights, all these influencer fights, they're really, they're not real. It's all kind of just marketing, I feel like, at least from my opinion, but it's still entertaining nonetheless.
So you think it'll be scripted a little bit?
I don't know about scripted. I don't think it's going to be a fair fight, whether that be, Tyson is giving his all and like going all out to the best of his ability, or, you have to take into account too that he's not in his prime. He's far retired now. So it's not really a fair match.
See, I would agree with that, but talking to people, everybody thinks Mike Tyson is going to beat him.
I think they just really want him to beat the punk Jake Paul, but
yeah. I don't know. With Floyd and Floyd and
No, Floyd fought against Logan.
Yeah.
So
and
that was just a shit show.
right. And I'm just wondering if it's going to be kind of the same story of You know, because there was some
I think he's going to try to
hesitation.
knock him out. They're both going to
Yeah.
try to knock each other out. Now, are you asking me, what do you think about the promotion? The promotion is all, selling, because they like each other, I think, in real life. And then once they get there, they're getting $20 million, Mike Tyson, $40 million, Jake Paul.
Whoa.
They're doing plenty of money, just ridiculous amounts of money. They can go retire in Florida, Puerto Rico, wherever they want to go and have a good time. But then when the fight starts, then you're in the ring and the pressure's there. And Mike Tyson's fans want him to knock out Jake Paul. Jake Paul's fans want to... Actually, I don't think Jake Paul has fans, if I have to be honest.
I don't know. I definitely think he has fans. We just don't.
I don't know.
We just don't see him.
Nobody.
They're the people that hide.
People watch him to fall. But whatever. Sorry, going back on your track, we opened this parenthesis just because.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about candy and snacks. What's your favorite cheat meal? I guess. Yeah.
Anything sweet, probably crumble cookie.
Ooh.
Yes. I mean, it's really not even that great of a product. It's just kind of the stigma, or not the stigma, but like the hype around it kind of helps too, and just the different flavors. I don't know. So every now and then I'll splurge on some crumble, but
I don't think I've ever had that.
I actually don't like crumble cookie.
Really?
That much. No, I don't. It's just too much. It's way too
I don't even know what it
buttery.
is. But so I'm Italian, so I didn't grow up with a lot of snacks or any of that.
Yeah. Well, how would you describe crumble cookie?
crumble, I mean, they have some pretty insane flavors every week. It's like a 1,000-calorie cookie.
Jesus
Like
Christ.
this big. Just so much sugar. I mean, it's horrible for you. It tastes great, but it's kind of a fun experience.
Butter. There's just all the butter in the world.
So do you have some cheat days in which you just go nuts and have fun?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really. I wouldn't say I really do scheduled cheat days, just because if you do a cheat day, at least for myself, I would take it way out of control and really screw up where I'm going towards. If I'm in a phase where I'm cutting weight, then I will limit that a little bit and maybe just have a cheat meal per week, incorporate that into my diet. But now that I've done losing the weight, I'm kind of just trying to maintain and put on a little bit of muscle. I mean, I'm not as strict with that kind of thing. So I'll kind of just incorporate those things into my diet and make them fit. I wouldn't really go out of my way to over-restrict myself or diet just to have that one cheat meal or cheat day, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You're talking a lot about a lot of important things here. How do you make the cheat kind of not miserable, I guess? Because you can make chicken and rice and broccoli all day and eat that and track your calories. But how do you, what's the little thing you add on top to make the cheat kind of, not the cheat, sorry, the cut.
Yeah.
A fun process, something where you don't spiral back because you're so fatigued or you're so burnt out from that process.
Yeah, so I would say first thing is to make it sustainable. A lot of people will try to take it way too extreme and be like, all right, I'm only doing chicken, rice, broccoli 3 times a day. That's it. No junk food until I have my cheat meal once I'm done with this whole thing. I mean, if you're doing that and you can stick to it, sure, great for you. Go ahead and do that. But for 99% of people, that's not going to work. When you fully restrict a certain food group or fully cut out something you want to eat, you're just going to realize it's not sustainable and ultimately fall back into old habits, and then you're going to fall off the track. So I'd say really just going for 80% of the more healthy gym bro diet food, and then having that other 20% be whatever you can fit into your goals.
Interesting. Yeah. So speaking about cheap food, you said, are you a sweet tooth?
100%.
So if you got to cheat, you'd rather do it with sweet stuff, yeah.
Every time.
Really?
Sure.
Every time?
Yeah, every time almost. I'm a big cookie fan, cake, candy, just anything like that. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's always a former fat kid thing to just have that crazy
Big
sweet
back.
tooth.
Big
back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big back.
But I think it has to do with. You were talking about this. There's sort of something going on in the brain that makes you not be able to stop. And I think when we talk about food, we can make the same discussion we make about alcohol or we make about drugs. I think now I'm not saying all drugs are like that, but I'm saying alcohol, for example, if you just get what you need and you have a little bit, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to do you too bad. But there are some people who have a really, really, really hard time stopping themselves and they continue to drink. And you see this a lot in college as well.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say it's something similar for food, or am I just getting a wrong read on this?
I think you're definitely right. I think it all just comes down to, dopamine. I mean, I'm no scientist or anything, but I think just having those external sources of pleasure and dopamine, some people just have a harder time, limiting it or making it healthy or making those, disciplined decisions to limit themselves. So I think there definitely is a correlation. And I have noticed with myself in the past, just like kind of having that same type of feeling towards other things, whether it be like, maybe probably shouldn't even get out into this on this podcast here.
No, go ahead.
Not
Yeah,
even
go
like
ahead.
alcohol, but maybe just like, THC, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And definitely, I just think it's more of a problem regulating that instant dopamine gratification that people
Yeah.
can struggle with.
Yeah.
100
It's the
million%.
instant gratification.
100%. I mean, a trope kind of among people our age is the dopamine rat, someone who doesn't look for long-term, I guess, mental pleasure with like something that the gym offers. I found myself kind of in this dopamine situation my first couple of years of college looking for something, and something that the gym really offers me are these endorphins, these long-lasting things, and in combination with, a goal and a process and a grand tracking of elements that make you feel like you're building towards something. So yeah, I think the gym is a great way to kind of help and manage all those instant dopamine things. I mean, would you say that's true? That's my
100%.
opinion on it.
Yeah. Because, I mean, when you're going to the gym or just trying to work out or better yourself, I mean, first off, the endorphins, you're going to feel that immediately. You feel a lot better after you're done with the workout. I mean, even if you were dreading that workout all day, you go, even if it's the worst workout you've ever had, at the end, you're still going to be like, all right, I'm glad I showed up. I feel a lot better. Like that, pat yourself on the back, totally. And that long-term goal as well, because you're not going to see results overnight. If you go to the gym, you're not going to wake up tomorrow jacked. So just being able to have that foresight into the future and know that it is going to take time, I think that can definitely counteract what we were just talking about for sure.
That feeling of instant gratification you were talking about, how's the fight going against it? Your fight?
Yeah, so for myself, honestly, it's been a huge battle. I mean, even after losing the weight, obviously throughout that time, it wasn't like I instantly was able to just control myself at all times. Of course, I had times where I would just binge or just completely go off track and kind of alter my progress for a little bit. And even now today, I definitely have a healthier relationship with food and that instant dopamine or instant gratification, but it is still something that I don't have fully under control. And I've still been, kind of learning and understanding how to control that and combat that.
It happens to me a lot of time. I think it's whenever you're doing something really good. For me, it's this podcast. I'm really proud of this podcast, and we hope it becomes as big as possible.
Yeah.
Or it's school, or it's whatever it is. I'm always afraid of, oh man, what if I mess it up? What if I do something so stupid, then I'm back into nothing again? Right. Do you have that feeling do you have the feel that you could go back on your steps and lose all the progress you've made?
100%. That's totally a thought I've had and do have. Just because my appetite is naturally so large, it is an everyday fight to control that and eat and just not gain weight. Yeah. And then, in terms of sustaining progress, it is a continuation of what you're doing to lose the weight to maintain that. A lot of people think that when you lose the weight, you're like, okay, yeah, I hit my goal weight. Now I'm done. I can just eat whatever you want. You're going to learn very soon that that's not how it works, and you're going to start gaining that weight back.
How are you going to look when you're 60 years old?
Exactly. So, I mean, ideally, I would like to maintain my health for as long as I can until I'm 60, always stay in shape. I think this experience has definitely taught me a lot, and just controlling my body and, knowing how all of that works. So I think also just kind of posting on social media has helped keep me accountable quite a bit.
I was about to say.
Because it's like, okay, I've documented this entire journey. I can't just...
People count on you. I saw the comments. People really, really feel understood by you. Everybody, I think most people have problems with food to a certain degree. And I saw your comments. You have one of the cutest fan bases. You have no haters. Everybody loves you. What is it about it, you think, about you that makes people feel so related to you?
I would just say when people are kind of in similar shoes and they can see that somebody is able to achieve the same thing that they're wanting to achieve, it kind of gives them that motivation or hope, like, okay, if he can do it, then maybe I could do it. And that makes me extremely happy to be able to be that source of motivation for people. Now, as for hate comments or anything, it's not like I would say I get hate comments of like, oh, yeah, you look horrible, bro, like quit. I would say it's more.
Yeah, why would you do that? At that point, you're
Right.
just you're a horrible person.
Right.
There's really not much to hate here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's more of just doubt or like, oh, like I've had so
Steroids?
many. Yeah, steroids. That's the big one. People are like, oh yeah, you forgot Trent. Like, oh yeah, you ate Trent bologna sandwiches. I mean, just for the record, obviously, I'm 100% natural. I've been 100% natural the whole way. But
Have you ever considered getting steroids?
I mean, I've never seriously considered it. I've definitely thought about how awesome it would be for the short term, and then and then 10 seconds later, you're like, okay, I'm gonna crash my test and need to be on TRT for the rest of my life. So it's
Yeah.
probably not a great idea. So no plans for that. But I think a lot of people just have that natural tendency to doubt something, especially with people being like steroids being more prevalent. People kind of point to everything and be like, oh yeah, that's steroids.
Especially the perpetuation of unrealistic body expectation
Right.
on social media.
Right. And I think that was a huge problem back in the day. There were so many fake natties, just like the OG Gymshark. And
Yeah.
then that being exposed has brought it to light. And now people almost over analyze and think everything should not be believed.
Yeah. And the thing is, you can do like now there's all sorts of ways to fake people to believe that you are perfect. You can do steroids, you can do Photoshop, lighting. Sometimes you don't even need any of that. It's just the lighting. The lighting in the room will do it for you.
Oh, wow.
How's the lighting at Ramsey?
Oh yeah, the Ramsey bathroom with the light with that one
You gotta
light
turn
switch
that
off.
light up. Yeah.
Oh
you
yeah,
gotta-
that's the story.
Everybody, can you tell him that story, please?
We had a crazy story. We were in the bathroom one time, and this is like early on into our gym thing, and we were doing the thing with our shirts off, checking ourselves out, and this guy walks in. He's like, "I got something for you," and he just turns off the light for us.
And it changed our life forever.
Our eyes filled up with wonder, and we saw in that moment the entirety of the human experience.
Oh yeah.
I'm just messing, but yeah, we learned about that light through another guy.
We have some weird stories at Ramsey. What about that guy who took off his shirt and told us he wanted to be a fire worker?
Oh yeah, there was this guy. We were, and then this speaks to the community of people flexing in front of a mirror, which is a funny thing. Him and I were in the bathroom, and this guy comes up next to us, takes off his shirt, and immediately starts lore dumping that he's going to be a sexy firefighter for Halloween.
He wasn't that sexy. I mean, nothing against him. I love the confidence, though. He wasn't sexy at all, but the confidence, it was an energy. I loved it.
Yeah. Also, that short-term goal that people have for like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym for Halloween or like for spring break is kind of insane.
Yeah.
I feel like you notice every time around the holidays or the New Year.
New Year, I was
I mean,
gonna
good for them, but Ramsey or any gym will be completely packed come the new semester, and then for spring break the 2 weeks before of people just having that short-term thing.
You're not connected to the you of outside somehow.
So true.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then also, I was wanting to ask, what is like the story of this podcast, or like what made you guys want to start this, or?
So this is a good question, actually. Is that camera working?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Well, let's get on it.
Yeah.
We're going to do an abrupt cut. Actually, do we want to finish that and then we get into how we started the podcast?
yeah.
What were we saying?
You were talking
About doing, training for 2 weeks when holidays are coming. The
Right.
reason why you do that, it's all psychological. You feel better. People don't see you much stronger than you actually are. You do. So you feel better about yourself. And I think if it's something that and again, it's not something unhealthy. You train for 2 weeks. It's better than staying on the sofa. So no hate for these people because I'm one of them. But also, yeah, be realistic. Nothing is actually going to happen to you. But you asked me how we started this podcast.
Yeah.
I worked for a little bit at WOG at the radio station here of UGA. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Okay, I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
And there were some things I didn't like. I'm not even going to get in detail with it. But I wanted to organize something by myself with cameras, with my vision in it. And I asked immediately Oliver if he wanted to be a part of it because I think it's really important when you have a host for him to be your friend because then, the vibe is better in the room.
Yeah,
for sure.
But the idea was to hit a niche, which is interviewing people, presidents of clubs, associations, athletes at UGA, and really everybody who's being successful and we think could be looked up to. And I think you're one of those. I mean, a lot of people look up to you. How does that make you feel?
Appreciate it. Yeah, first off, I mean, that's awesome. I think you guys have a great studio here, and I really do like the vision of the podcast.
Thank you.
So yeah, 100%. And then as for, other people looking up to me, it's never been something that I thought would ever happen. I mean, I kind of just went on my way. When I first started, I never thought that. Like, oh, yeah, I might motivate somebody else to do that. And honestly, that wasn't the whole motivation behind me recording the whole entire process. It was kind of just for my personal usage. I never thought I would really be posting it online anywhere. But it is a cool feeling. It does feel a little bit surreal sometimes. Like if people will approach me in person or in DMs or whatever saying that I help them like do whatever with their life or I help them lose X amount of weight. It is really cool that, you know, my videos were able to kind of help them get started with that.
I know what people think of you, positive things. What do your parents think of all this that you've done, losing all that weight, building such a big following? Do they even understand that?
Yeah, so my parents have definitely been super supportive, even with the whole Fortnite thing of me wanting to be, you know, at like 300 plus pounds in high school, wanting to quit my junior and senior year of baseball to play Fortnite full time. Like it's absolutely an insane
That's
thing.
so hard to present to your
Oh,
parents.
100%. But I mean, being able to show a little bit of proof, like, hey, I made X amount this month playing video games or like working on this YouTube channel. I really think I could take this a step further. And the same thing for fitness. You know, obviously they've supported me in the past when I would try to lose weight. Every single year I would try to lose weight. Maybe I'd lose 10, 15 pounds, ultimately just gain it back and then more. And that was a never ending cycle. So I have to assume that there was that doubt in the back of their heads, like, oh yeah, you're going to the gym, you're down 5 pounds, nice. Like this is the 100th time I've heard this, but they've been super supportive the entire time. You know, my mom especially has just been great, super supportive, always saying how proud she is of me and like how cool it is that I'm doing what I'm doing. So it is nice to have that support. And I think they do understand it. My dad might not understand the whole social media game as much as my mom. And that's not in terms of not supporting me, but just not knowing like, oh, how do I open TikTok? How do I like a video? What is your account name? It's just, they're not really in touch with that kind of thing.
So
But
they don't follow you?
they do follow me.
They do
I
follow you?
definitely went on their
Okay.
accounts and made them follow.
Okay,
No,
let's go.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, they have a basic idea of it. And yeah, it's been really nice to have their support.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
That's really awesome. Yeah,
Thank
parents
you.
are the best.
I
Support of
agree.
the parents is really important as well.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, I feel they give you that extra push. Family always gives you that extra push because there's a lot of people who are not going to believe in you all the time. And if you have a family pushing you from down there up, you get a little bit more confidence, a little bit more of a feeling that you will be able to do it. And yeah, I think it's right.
do you think your transformation was more based on the gaze of the other or the gaze of the self?
That is a great question. Honestly, I would say when I first started, it was completely gaze of the others and wanting to be more comfortable with how I felt I was being perceived by other people, just because that was something I had always struggled with my entire life of just being insecure with how I look or how I act or how people think of me.
Absolutely.
So, you know, always wanting to like impress people or show people like, oh yeah, look what I did. That was 100% the motivation for starting this whole thing. But I feel like nowadays, now that I have kind of, you know, got that gratification, it's really not any, I mean, obviously it's great to have that, but it's really, you should do it for yourself and want to keep improving yourself for yourself. I forget what the quote is, but it's like, you shouldn't climb a mountain so other people can see you up there and so you can see the view from up there.
Yeah.
That's definitely not what it is. That was horrible.
I get the
Well, I
gist,
mean,
though.
no, yeah, it definitely delivers. It definitely delivers. I read something, I think it was a quote of you, where you were, and again, I'm not going to go word by word,
Sure.
but you were saying that something that really bothered you when you were losing weight was people pointing it out to you. Hey, Justin, you look good, man. I can tell you lost some weight. You were saying in that quote that I read that it bothered you somehow. Can you explain me why?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it necessarily bothered me. I would say it's more of, you know, almost the embarrassment of trying to admit
yes.
that you are fat. Because I feel like when I was younger, I almost had this blissful ignorance that nobody would know I'm fat unless it was directly pointed out. Like if my dad was driving my friends around and we're like, oh yeah, can we go get ice cream? And he's like, oh, I thought we were trying to lose weight. I'm like, what? You just exposed my secret. They're not supposed to know I'm fat. So the whole kind of thing of people knowing that you are actively trying to fix an issue kind of brings it to light and kind of just exposes it. So it is a little bit or very irrational, but that's definitely something I felt when I was first starting.
So, do you think it's more work that needs to come from outside on people being a little bit more sensitive and the way they talk to people who are overweight, or does it need to be something that comes more from the inside and sort of creating a bubble in which you don't care and where you don't care about what people think or say?
I think if you want to go ahead and improve yourself, whether it's with weight loss or whatever, it has to be from that internal motivation. You have to want to do it for yourself, no matter how many doctors or however many people tell you like you need to change.
Yeah.
That's still not going to be enough for you to do it. It's going to be a huge journey. You're going to have moments where you don't have motivation, and that comes down to your internal discipline. So having that internal fortitude to make it past those days when you don't want to show up or go to the gym or eat what you're supposed to be eating, that internal motivation is always going to outweigh the external motivation. Now, with the whole topic of people being more sensitive or like, let's bring back bullying so people lose weight, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think people should be babied around it either. I mean, I think the whole thing about, I mean, I'm not even sure if we want to get into the whole body positivity thing. I think.
No, let's get into
We
it.
have it
actually.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to get into it. Ollie.
Yeah. How do you feel about body positivity? Because on one hand, you know, it keeps the weight from becoming like a personal attack on personality and character. But on the other hand, it does have underlying health problems that do need to be addressed and at a risk for having heart attacks.
Yeah. So, I mean, first off, I'm not even sure exactly what body positivity as defined is. I don't know if it's a movement or if it's just kind of a general term. But if we're speaking in just terms of being positive about your body, I don't think anybody should be like,
A social movement and philosophy that encourages people to have a positive body image and accept their bodies as they are, regardless of societal standards. You see what's going on here in this definition.
Yeah.
Where do you bring it too far?
so
Right.
in that regard, I would definitely say, aside from societal standards, just being healthy, you shouldn't, I mean, if you're overweight and you know you need to lose weight and it's not healthy, I mean, I don't think you should hate yourself or put yourself down like, oh, yeah, I'm the worst, like I'm disgusting.
No,
But at the same time, I don't think you should fully embrace that and be like, you know what? I'm X amount of weight. I'm 200 pounds overweight. This is who I am. I'm proud of it. I mean, I think it's great that you have that confidence to say that, but also it's not setting a good example for other people and nonetheless yourself.
Yeah, because not everyone's the same.
Right. And I just think that, you know, if we are to all just accept ourselves for who we are, that's going to encourage a lot of unhealthy habits and people not achieving what they could otherwise achieve.
Then with this, I want to get into something else. A lot of people, when you say that, are going to be thinking, oh, but this guy, he did it. You know, he's 1 out of a million who lost all that weight in that little time and it looks this good.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm going to make it. What do you have to say to somebody who's negative about the chance of progress?
Great question. So a lot of people do have that lack of confidence in regard to like, okay, yeah, you did it or this person did it, but myself, like, oh yeah, I just can't lose weight. I look at a salad and I gain 5 pounds. I mean, weight loss and just weight management does come down to thermodynamics. And if you have those in place and you are, you know, going about things the right way, you're eating in a calorie deficit moderately, you're being active, you're drinking water, you're getting the right sleep, it's scientifically impossible that you aren't going to get the results as long as, you know, you don't have that underlying health condition. But for 99% of people, you 100% can lose weight or do whatever you're trying to do in terms of your overall health. You don't need superior genetics or to get lucky. You know, a lot of people will think, okay, yeah, keto works for me or paleo doesn't work for me or that works for this person. At the end of the day, they're all just tools to be in a calorie deficit. That's the primary thing for weight loss. Nobody's above thermodynamics or thermogenetics. It's all about just, you know, staying consistent and knowing you're going about it in the right way.
It seems like you're really observing the science behind it.
Right.
Would you say that you're a science-based lifter? There seems to be this kind of, you know, Jeff Nippard, kind of these social media conversations between the best workout to do and people being like, Jeff Nippard, like, come on, dude. Like,
Yeah.
stop being so nerdy. But, I mean, we were nerding out earlier. Sometimes being nerdy is not such a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, for myself, I wouldn't identify as a science-based lifter. I do implement a lot of science, or I'll always try to do things in the most scientifically optimal way. Not to say that I'm diving into textbooks or scientific articles to do this. I'll just watch YouTube, Jeff Nippard, whoever, to get the best information and go about it in the best way you can. Because I mean, if you are going to be putting in all of this effort, you might as well be going about things the right way. Now, with that being said, on the other hand of that, there's so many people that say, okay, it doesn't matter. You don't need to worry about the science, just train hard. And that's true to a certain extent. But if you could be doing it better, then you might as well do that.
Yeah. I think we're looking at body positivity, kind of tying it back. It's all about the science, really. Yeah. As soon as science says that you're in a healthy, an unhealthy condition, I think you need to
abandon body positivity.
Yeah. Stop being so okay with those signs. But also, negative self-talk is one of the worst things, and I'm a very big advocate of men's mental health.
Oh, yeah.
And mediating and kind of navigating the way that internal voice talks to you, even when it shouldn't be, even though it's not science-based. So there's definitely, it's a very complex conversation, and there's a lot of nuances that.
We have only 5 minutes left, so I want to do two things. I want to ask one question, and then I want to do our little game that we prepared for Justin.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is, I am trying to lose weight. I'm going through hell, and I need to relate to an experience. What has been the toughest moment for you when you were trying to lose weight and be as fit and healthy as you are right now?
I would definitely say when I was at the end of my journey, when you're first starting a weight loss journey, those first 5, 10, even 30 pounds, depending on how much you're trying to lose, are going to be relatively easier than the final pounds you're losing. So I'll say, starting my max weight ever was like 325 pounds. So when I got under 200 and I was really just trying to take it to that next level of, looking the best I can or being as confident as I can, I already lost the weight. I was healthy, but I really wanted to do it for myself and just achieve the opposite end of the spectrum I was on. So really trying to push it that extra mile was really difficult. And I think that's a combination of, just burning out after being dieting for 2 years straight and going to the gym 5 or 6 days a week for 2 years straight, it can be a huge mental burden, and it can be very stressful and toxic. Also, kind of dipping into bounds of being excessive with like watching your calories and just being trying to be in the gym more than you should. It can get a little bit unhealthy, and I found myself dipping into that territory a little bit. So yeah, I'd really just say at the end of my journey, trying to take it to that extra level.
So connecting to that, are you satisfied with the way you look right now?
I would say I'm comfortable and I'm confident, but I'm not satisfied as in I would want to stay like this for the rest of my life. I always think there is room for improvement, and that's what I do aim for. I'm always trying to improve myself. So, just gradually putting on more muscle and, staying lean. It's always just kind of that process of wanting to improve and see those results, because it is a little bit addicting in some regard when you do see that progress and you see that you're improving yourself. You just want to keep taking it further and further.
It's that frontier, man.
Right.
That's an awesome mentality, though.
Yeah.
To not be comfortable.
It's a winning man mentality.
Yeah. All right, you want to play our little game?
Let's go do it. Explain him the game.
The game is called 10 Quick Questions, and we're going to ask you a quick question, and you have to say very quickly, without thinking at all, the first answer that comes to your brain.
Sounds good.
No matter what. All right.
Hold on. Actually, I'm checking if you put that question. There was a question I really wanted to put in.
Just go ahead and throw it in there, in your brain.
All right, I'll just put it in there.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started.
You see it?
Yeah, I see
You
it.
didn't put that one in.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Are you ready to rumble?
Best gym song.
Anything Lady Gaga or Katy Perry.
There you go.
Favorite cheat meal?
Cookies.
Favorite bodybuilder.
C-bone.
Weirdest gym exercise? Why?
Weirdest gym exercise? Probably say hip thrust. They're not bad, but they can look a little bit crazy.
I can see that.
Yeah. Gym date, yes or no?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah. That's something I do with my girlfriend quite a bit, and I think it's really
Well, but did you do that before you were a boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, we did not.
See, it's okay. All right. Would you bring out a girl on a first date to the gym?
In a world where I don't have a girlfriend, no, I still would not do that. I don't think that's a good idea for anybody to do.
All right, best movie.
Butterfly Effect.
Favorite adult cartoon?
Family Guy.
Sexiest muscle.
Back. Back and
Back.
bicep.
There you go. Sport you watch the most on TV?
Baseball.
Least favorite thing about UGA.
Parking.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was going to be parking.
I took parking right over here. I'm just saying.
It
Are you
pisses
doing
me
parking
off all
ride?
the time.
Yeah.
How many tickets did you get in the past year?
I think I've had 3 in the past 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
We're in a good competition right here because I thought I was the king of tickets at UGA. I got a bunch of super speeders tickets. I went through a red light. I'm a danger on the road.
Yeah,
I'm gonna lose my
Do you do
license.
parking right off of College Station?
I believe so. The E23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Only
amazing.
parking offer I got.
Yeah, same. And you're a senior. That's crazy. All right. Favorite dining hall?
Bolton. It's the only one I've been to.
You don't go to the other ones?
No, I've never had a meal plan or a dining pass, so I've gone there like 5 times. I thought it was pretty good. You know, the cookies were all right.
The cookies. Yeah.
Last question of the day. Place and order. Hunger, intelligence, humility.
In order of what?
Yourself. Where do you see these 3 qualities in yourself? Hunger, intelligence, humility. Rank them from 1 to 3.
I would say number 1 is hunger my appetite phically and also just wanting to achieve more. And then
We didn't mean it in that sense.
Right.
That
Yeah,
was
I just
going to
gotta
sound
think
like we're
about it.
dicks. No, I didn't mean it that way.
No, I understand. Just throwing that in there as well. And then I think humility, of course, you got to be humble and just like understand that you're not always going to be doing everything the best way you can, and there's always room for improvement. And then intelligence, obviously. I'm not claiming to be the smartest guy in the world. I'm not claiming to be the most educated, even in weight loss or fitness or anything. Always trying to learn more and improve myself. So.